Today I am making an elf Christmas card using the Queen & Company North Pole card kit. This idea came from Christy Marcotte's Queen & Company North Pole video, where she turned the deer outline die into an elf by simply trimming off the ears of the deer and lowering them on the head to look like an elf. Then you simply place the Santa hat on top and you have your little Christmas elf. I added a few of my own touches, but the original idea was Christy's, and I want to thank her. It was really a lot of fun to make and play with. I will describe what I did in this video with the hopes it will help you create your own Christmas elf with this die set or any other dies that you have in your stash. So here I found just a piece of plain scrapbook paper. It was a nice peach color. I thought that would be a good skin tone match. And it was thin. So I placed a piece of Sizzix self-adhesive paper on it, and it's small. It's like for the tiny sidekick, but I like those because they're small they make small adhesive sheets. I put a piece of heavy cardstock behind it and adhered it to the peach, and that way I had a sturdier elf head. So I didn't want any of the paper that I sat it on top of to either press through if it was embossed or show through if it was a print. So here I take the deer outline die and I just trace around the ears just to give myself a guide to cut. It made it very simple to cut. You don't have to do that, and you could just eyeball it, but I just thought it would be simpler, and I had the die there, so I did that. So I made two because I knew I was going to make two of these elves, and I make one in red and one in pink. I show how I make the red, but the pink was the exact same, it looked the exact same way, so I did not add that to this video. If anyone would like to see that, write it in the comments and I can upload it. Here I take the outline die for the Santa hat and use the Queen & Company red paper. So these two I made mostly with Queen & Company paper. The pink one I make from a different paper pad. So here I am, this is only the second one I made, and I would say to assemble and cut out your elf, it will take you about 15 minutes, and then you assemble and create the card around him. It did not take me longer than, I would say, 25 minutes to make each card. And that's just because I think I was new at making the elf, and I think if you started making a bunch, they'd go together really fast, because the hardest part, I would say, is to get the ears in the right spot. And that was very simple, you'll see. You just adjust them, and before you stick them down, sit your hat on top of them. That helped me figure out where to place them, because if I had them too high, they were covered up by the hat, and if I had them too low, maybe they showed than I wanted. It was very simple and a lot of fun. And you'll see I ran off extra little tufts up top for the puff ball for the Santa hat. Those you will use to make your collar. And I used Lawn Fawn Pixie Dust glitter paper for that. You could use any glitter paper. You could use just white. You could use gray. I know sometimes I see a lot of people put gray in the Santa hat. I like a nice crisp white. And you just glue your little items down. So you glue the deer ears to the back of the head, and there you have your little elf. So cute. And it was fun to be able to use a die for something other than it was supposed to be, I just found that to be a lot of fun. And it turned out so adorable. I mean, incredibly adorable. Just mess around, get them lined up to however you like them. That's kind of the nice thing about this is you can line it up how you like it. You probably could make it without the ears. Just cut the ears off and set the hat on top, and then it looks more like a child's face. So look, there's another idea for this die. So now I'm gluing on the hat, and I made this hat a little bit higher. I wanted to see if I liked the hat coming off of the white background a little bit. And it's cute either way. So there's all sorts of different adjustments you can make to this. So here I'm going to put the hat on. That's like the great reveal. And you have an elf. All you need are his eyes. So you could stop here and just have the elf head. But I thought once I had those eyes on, and then I take a stamp that I have from Simon Says Stamp, and I think it's called Coffee Time or Coffee and Tea. I bought it a few years ago. But the point was not to get you to have to get that stamp set. It was just I felt more secure using that stamp to make his mouth than drawing it in. So those are the eyes, and you have a little die in your Queen & Company kit for all of these, except for the foundation. There's the stamp set, and I chose that face. And then I took some Post-it tape and masked off where I thought the eyes would stamp and left enough space for the mouth only to stamp. And this masking is not something I ever do. And it was very simple. You probably could use a sticker or really anything. You could draw it on with a pencil and then use ink. That way if you messed up, you could erase it till you got it the way you wanted. But it really lined up easy. And you could use an acrylic block if you don't have a stamp platform. And looks like he has a little bandage on his face. So just peel that off, and ta-da, you have an elf. And you could stop right there. I just wanted to show the Post-it tape. So here are the little puff balls from the hat, and they're slippery, so they take a little adjusting, but it helps you get them on right. I didn't want to edit out any of the maybe mishaps that were going on because I wanted people to get a true idea of how this came together. It takes a couple of tries, but I think once you do it, and you may only do one. You may decide, oh, I want this for a project and I just need one. I've got that die kit, so just do the one. But I wanted people to see truly how it came together and not edit out too much. This my plan was, so I wind up choosing a little red shirt, and this is all that you do. Cut the corner of the paper off. I didn't measure it. It's not straight. And all you do is stick it behind because he's going to go behind a sentiment. And so I chose It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas that's in the Queen & Company kit. And I cut it with the die from the Foundation Set 2, I believe. I will show it. I put a strip of black paper behind the banner. I had some This is actually from Halloween card scraps. Pop that behind. And line it up and glue it down. It just centered right perfectly in there. And I had to think on it, how to adjust him and how to get him just right. But it was very simple. A little glue on that corner to make some shoulders. And he's adorable. Initially, my daughter wanted the blue elf card. She loved it because I came upstairs and said, "Look what I just made." She said, "I love it. Can I have it?" I said, "Sure, but let me keep it as like a template." And I am going to make a template for future use and pop it in with my dies for next year. So I remember how I did it. Then I showed her the red one. And she said, "Can I have the red one now?" So I don't know which one's better. I make a pink one, but it was the same process. And I wanted this video to be fast, so you got a true idea of how long it would take. If anyone really wants to see the pink card, how it was made, I can pop that video up. Just leave it in the comments. "Oh, I want to see how you made the pink one." It's the same process, just different paper. I used LDRS Mackenzie Christmas for the pink one. And then I had the solid cardstock that I'm using is all from Hobby Lobby. It's Paper Studio. And I bought that, I think I bought it last month. They were having a sale with all their Paper Studio stuff, like 50% off. I thought that was crazy, so I stocked up. So I think I'm going to make this exactly how I made the blue one. But it wound up that I didn't think the red outfit looked as good on that polka dot paper as the blue outfit did. So the back of that paper was gray and white, like gray and white polka dots. And I thought, wow, if I put him on a red background, that would be really nice. It would make his outfit pop. But it looked more dull on gray on top of that. So I go with red. And I kind of cut out all the trying to decide what paper to use, just to keep the video at a quick take a look and decide if you want to do it time. And that is gray and white snowflake paper, but I thought, well, this one's already cut. So even though it's the reverse, you couldn't tell. So I decided to save that piece of paper. It looked very pretty. Oh, and the white cardstock that the elf is sitting on is embossed with a Sizzix snowflake die, and it gave a lot of texture. And so I put some glue on it because I don't know if the double-sided tape will hold bumpy cardstock that well, and he was so cute, he needed to stay together. Just press him down, let him kind of adhere, and I only sat him there for a second, and he was on good. And decided to go ahead with the gray. I pulled out a white card and thought, well, I don't know. Pulled out a black card that I had left over from Halloween, and I thought he popped. So that is what I go with. And the reason I'm not using my ATG gun is because it was covered in all kinds of stuff, and that little blue tape runner was sitting right next to me, so that's what we used. So put down the gray, or the gray and white polka dot, and place the little elf down. And look at that, he's done. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. And I'll be starting more cards today, so hit subscribe. Thanks.